We're going to review the scan and cut. So first we're going to show how we can retrieve the data that we saved when we created the applique shape on the machine and how it's going to know to cut that shape out. So I'm going to retrieve data. I'm going to select my flash drive. And you're going to go to the pocket. And I'm going to scroll down to, here's the flower shape that I created. So you'll notice when I select the flower shape, here's that applique symbol again. When I select the applique symbol, here is the part that it recognized as the outline shape. So I simply select that, and now I'm going to be able to cut that shape out. So we'll go back and we'll also show how here is the heart that we created, and I assigned the cut line to it. So in the first example, I turned it into an applique. It automatically made that first stitch an applique stitch for the scan and cut to recognize. In this one, I assigned the cut line to that placement line as I would on any other embroidery pattern. I simply assign the placement line a cut line, and again, when I touch the applique, the scan and cut will find that shape and I can cut that out. So once I've opened it and then selected the applique shape, this gives me the size. So it is a little bit bigger because it added the applique around the existing design. So I think it'll still be okay. I'm going to go ahead and press set. And then I can position this wherever it is I want it to be, but I'm going to go ahead and scan my fabric. So I have placed a piece of applique material backed with my Steam-A-Seam 2 again. I've placed it on my mat. I'm simply going to load my mat and I'll scan the mat so that I know where to place the design. So I'm going to press scan. And I am using my fabric blade and my fabric mat. It's an auto blade, so it will automatically select the amount of thickness that it needs to cut. So I can now see on my screen where my fabric is. So I'm going to drag my shape. So I zoomed in so you can see here's the scan of the fabric, and I have been able to place my shape right where I want it on my fabric, so it's going to cut out. And then I'm going to press OK. OK again. OK again. And I'm going to select cut. And then I'll hit start. I now have my perfectly cut shape, so I'm going to remove this, and then I'm ready to take this to my machine to place it. When it does the placement line, then I can put this down. To do the manual applique example, we're going to just cut out a shape and then we'll do some manually appliquing. So you have a lot of built-in designs and shapes into the scan and cut as well. Now again, when we get the 330D, I can take a shape here, send it right into the Luminaire and create an embroidery design out of it. So watch for that coming up. So I'm just going to go ahead and select the letterings, and go through. You've got so much. If you have the scan and cut, you have so many things in here to choose from, and we will be working with more of those. So I'm just going to select the letter U, press OK. Now this is going to be the size of the letter right here, so I'm going to increase that to 2.5. And I'll put another piece of fabric on and we'll cut that out. Now for this example, I'm going to place my fabric side down. So the fabric mat is actually pretty sticky, and sometimes the paper, if you're using the Steam Seam 2, is hard to remove. So you might want to place your fabric face side down. But if in that case you want to make sure that you have mirror imaged your pattern. So if the fabric is right side down, now I'm going to go into, I'm going to edit my object, and I'm going to mirror image the pattern before I cut it out. Again, press OK, and I'm going to scan my mat. And then we're going to position this design onto this piece of fabric. So I position just like before, and then I'm still going to select cut, and once again I'm going to cut that design out onto the fabric. Back with Steam Seam 2, in this case the fabric is face down, so the design has been mirror imaged. So you'll want to take note of whether your fabric is going to be placed upside down or right side up. So we'll use this example for some manual applique, since we don't have this as an in the hoop applique. Although again, once we get the 330D, we'll show you how we could take that and turn that into an applique or an embroidery design on the luminaire. So that is using the scan and cut, and then we'll go back and review the sewing out in the hoop and in the machine.